near side, dangles around the defender, shoots, big blocker save. And now we're going to get some fisticuffs thrown around here.
Fresh episode number 3, 2 episodes in. They're letting us do it again for some reason. So apparently the big bosses are happy, but we are back with episode 3 of the Blizz Show podcast, Player Profile. And this time we got a heavy hitter here. The captain of the Brookings Blizzard, Cam Babiak here, his 3rd year with the organization. He's going to give this a crack. Cam, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Good practice today and everything?
Yeah, it felt good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty pumped. I mean, I finally got on here.
Right?
Yeah.
That's good. I know you've been texting me like, hey, when is it my turn? You retweeted the coming soon tweet.
Yep.
So I knew you were excited to do this, but it's good to have the big hitter on, if you want to call it that. The captain of this team. He's been here for 3 years. He knows everything about Brookings, a heck of a lot more than I could ever know at this point. But first of all, Cam, just really excited for this weekend's games. Obviously, tomorrow is the home opener against the Minot Minotauros, a team that went to the Robertson Cup finals last year. So kind of just describe, as the captain of the team, what the mood is like in the locker room and just your expectations for tomorrow.
Yeah, so obviously tomorrow we're playing Minot, which they won our division last year and actually went on to the Robertson Cup finals and competed pretty hard. So we know that they're going to be coming out hard. So basically we're just trying to prepare as much as possible for that. And I mean, like, as far as the locker room goes, we're just trying to keep it light in there, trying to keep everybody loose. Obviously, I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's about it. I mean, our team, we're not too big on, like, rules and all that stuff. We're just trying to keep it nice and loose.
What has Coach Mantha said to you that's kind of stuck with you over the last 48 hours? That, I mean, I'm sure he's talked to you about what Minot is like as a team or something like that, but just kind of what has he said that you want to carry into tomorrow's game?
Basically, he just said that they're going to be coming out hard. And, I mean, all the returners, they know especially that Minot, like, they're probably the hardest team to play against in our division. So we just need to be ready for that.
Yep. So the Blizz Show podcast is also brought to you by our friends out at H&R Block, so we appreciate their support for this podcast. But let's get into the early part of your childhood. So for those who don't know, Cam Babiak, hometown is Saline, Michigan. And I've noticed this over the last few weeks. There are a lot of players in this league from Michigan.
Yeah.
And I've never really understood it, but Michigan it's a hockey town. Obviously, it's hockey town in the bread of the Detroit Red Wings. So It's really great to see all those people, as somebody who has ties to Michigan, to see so many people coming from that state and coming to play in this league. Can you just speak about that for a minute?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny that you mentioned that, because most of the guys especially in our division and in our league, like, I've played against growing up my entire life, so I know all those guys. And it's kind of funny too, because when you're playing against them in Detroit, you hate their guts and you don't get along with them at all. But then once you kind of move on to juniors and then you move on to that next level, then like when you see them at the rink or when you see them anywhere else, you're just kind of buddy with them. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, when you go back out onto the rink, like, you want to kill them.
Absolutely.
But like off the ice, you're just like, hey, what's up, man? Like, how you doing?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's it. It's nice.
So what was it like growing up in Saline, Michigan, and how far is that from Detroit? Just kind of describe what the high moments of your childhood and what led you to basically want to be a hockey player.
Yeah, so my mom's side of the family is they're all Canadian, so they're all from Canada. I guess we were over there when I was like 2 years old or something, and all my cousins played growing up. And I watched a game, and I was like, I want to try that. Yeah. And they threw me in there. So I don't know. I guess from there, it just kind of took off.
Has it always been hockey, or has there been something in the back of your mind like, hey, I'm pretty good at this, maybe I could give this a shot if hockey doesn't work?
I mean, not really. It's pretty much always been hockey.
That's a good thing.
I played lacrosse in middle school, and then I'm a huge golfer too outside of the rink, but
makes two of us.
I'm just not like a Rory McIlroy or Tiger Woods. I can't even compare myself to those guys.
On a side note, what'd you think of Tiger Woods winning that
Oh
tournament?
my God, that was huge. I was so pumped for him. That was so sick.
That's a great comeback story for golf fans, and it's just great for the sports world in general to have that guy doing so well.
Sure.
So what was the person that you looked up to the most when you were growing up in your childhood? Was there somebody that was really instrumental in helping you become a better hockey player? Kind of what's that relationship been like?
It's kind of hard to just single out one person. I'd probably have to say like my grandparents and my parents. I mean, my grandparents, they did a lot for me. So my dad, he owns a bakery in Saline, so he's working like night shifts. So when he's not working, he's usually sleeping during the day. And then my mom, she would travel a lot for work, so then my grandparents would look after me. So then my grandparents would really push me to get to practice and everything. And then later on, when I was more like young teen and all that stuff, then that's when like my mom and my dad really kind of kind of like got me going to practice and all that stuff. And then also too with that, my mom was actually a Division I tennis player for Bowling Green.
Wow.
Yeah, so she knows what it takes to get to the next level. So she's kind of always instilled on me like nutrition, like practice habits, work ethic, all that stuff. So I mean, it's really hard, but I don't know. I guess one person, if I had to say it, was like my mom and my dad.
Yeah.
So I guess not even one person.
Two people.
It's too hard.
That's
too
good,
hard.
man. That's definitely, it's a common answer, and it's the right answer, too. If mom and dad are listening to this and you say somebody else, they're going to be like, what about what we've done in your life?
Exactly.
So you're going to get some flack for it no matter what you say.
Yeah, I don't even want to see what they'd have to say in that family group chat. So.
Yeah, exactly. So speaking of, you mentioned Bowling Green University. I think this is an interesting segue here for you, and really interested to get for you to tell the fans about this relationship that you have with a player who plays at Bowling Green right now.
Yeah.
He's a former Brookings Blizzard player, and he was just drafted into the National Hockey League. So tell your relationship with us about Brandon Kruse.
Yeah, so Brandon Kruse is funny. I love him. He's basically like my brother. He's been my best friend since 6th grade. So we've kind of been through it all together. So yeah, I mean, he came to Brookings first, and then basically with the story on how I got here, they had a bunch of injuries. They needed a defenseman to come up, and he's like, yeah, Cam Babiak, like, he's my buddy from back home, so give him a shot or whatever. So he actually was kind of the one who introduced me to Brookings.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't even put into words how happy I am for him. Like, it was incredible.
Yeah. What was when you heard his name get announced at the NHL Draft? I mean, I'm sure you guys exchanged text messages and stuff like that. But
yeah, no, we were together actually.
What was what was running through your head, just as his friend, as his brother? What was running through your mind?
Like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. It's actually a funny story if we have time to tell it. But so we were actually sitting in B-dubs. It was just me and him. We just got off of work at my dad's bakery, and we're sitting in B-dubs, and we just saw 2 of our buddies get drafted. Yeah. And then we're just like, all right, like, let's get out of here. But then for some reason, like, we're just like, all right, like, let's just wait for one more name, because Vegas was up. We're like, oh, let's see who goes to Vegas. Yeah. And then I get a text from somebody I know that was at the draft, and they're like, hey, Kruse just went to Vegas. But obviously the TV is on a time delay. Yeah. So I turn to him. I'm like, hey, man, I think you're about to go to Vegas. And he's like, shut up. Like, I know you're just messing around with me. And then next thing you know, like, we look up at the TV, and they're like, yeah, Brandon Kruse was selected by Vegas. And we just kind of look at each other, and we like kind of like start going crazy, I guess. I don't know. It was funny. Special moment. Those are the moments that you're going to cherish forever. Yeah. Whether it's friendships, brotherhood, whatever it is, those are the kind of moments that you like to cherish forever. So moving on from your childhood and kind of moving ahead to the USHL. You spent some time with 2 different teams. So Des Moines, obviously, in 2015 and 16, and then Sioux City last year for just a game or so. Now that you've experienced kind of like this level for 3 years in the North American Hockey League, compared to the USHL, which is where you probably want to get to next if it isn't to college, obviously, what was that experience like if you're playing in the USHL for those 2 teams? Yeah, it was definitely a different experience. A little bit faster, a little bit more physical. When I was in there, when I was, I think I was like, I was 16 at the time. At the time, the USHL was a much older league, so I was playing against like 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, so it was definitely a lot faster pace, and it was pretty. I'm sure you got thrown around like a cheap 10 occasionally. I mean, I held my own, but definitely. You're in good shape, so I mean, that's the thing. So he's in good shape, folks. That's why he doesn't get thrown around too much here in Brookings either. Yeah, no, I agree with that. But so the last 3 seasons has been really emphasized here in Brookings. You've really kind of made your quote-unquote mini home here in Brookings. You've gotten to know your Billet family really well. I'm assuming you have a good relationship with them. But just the last 3 years, I know it's kind of hard to sum it up into maybe a minute or so of words, but what has your relationship been like here in the city of Brookings with the fan base, with the city? Just kind of talk about Brookings for a minute. So Chris and Brenda Karch, they're my billets. They're really great. I mean, they've been taking care of me just like I'm one of their kids. So they honestly, like, if I didn't have them, like, this wouldn't even be possible. So I mean, for them to do that is just incredible, and they're amazing. So if you guys are watching that, thank you. We love the shout-outs on this thing. Yeah, also, too, the fan base here is incredible. I mean, we get a great crowd. So, I mean, I couldn't be happier with that. And everybody's super nice here. I mean, I think that's been said on the past 2 podcasts. Right. So I was just beating a dead horse now. But. So what was your reaction when you first found out you were coming to Brookings? Like my first time?
Yep.
I was pretty pumped, just because I think I was ready to make that next jump into junior hockey.
Yeah.
So especially coming here with my best friend, like that's a pretty cool experience.
Yeah.
Not many
That'll
people
make
can,
things better.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, not many people can say that. But yeah, I was really excited to get here and get everything rolling.
So obviously this year you guys expectations are high this year because Mo Mantha's in his second year coaching. He really seems to understand your guys' mentality and style of play and relates to you guys as well. I mean, he played 10-plus years in the NHL, for goodness sake. So basically, what has been the one thing this year? We talked about the game specifically, but for the last month or so since you got here, what is the one thing that Mo Mantha has said to you, like, that has motivated you to be a better player and a better captain?
Yeah, so he's basically just telling us, like, work ethic is the biggest thing, especially coming out, especially to the younger guys too. They're coming out here from, like, their youth programs and everything, and they don't really know what it's like to play against older guys or at this fast of a pace, I guess, if you want to say that. So basically, yeah, just work every single day. And then, because, like, he was a captain for a couple teams in the NHL too.
Yeah,
so
he was. Mm-hmm.
He was just kind of telling me, like, the guys voted for you for a reason, so don't try to change anything up. Just be who you are. So I mean, that's probably, like, the biggest thing that has stuck with me so far.
This year, you got a really good-looking team out there, and it's really exciting to see what they're going to do starting tomorrow against Minot. Puck drop will be at 7 o'clock, doors open at 6. So when you think about this roster, what separates this roster from your two rosters in the past two seasons?
We're a lot bigger, and we're a lot more physical.
Yeah, I can tell.
That's probably the biggest thing that sticks out to me.
Yep. What are the two goaltenders? They're not the normal goaltenders. They are catching in different hands that most people don't. So talk about those goaltenders for a few minutes. I mean, McLean and Jack have just been – they've been rock solid in their games that they've played. So just talk about what the goalies mean to this team.
Yeah, I mean, the goalies are huge. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing that a team needs. And, I mean, going into a little bit of, like, those two guys, I mean – they're both great guys. Yeah, like you said, they're a little bit different playing style. Like Kruse, for instance, he's I guess I hate using the word smaller goalie, but I mean you can use that word. Like he's a little bit of a smaller goalie, but he is so athletic. It is ridiculous. Like he'll be on one side of the net and he'll just go over to the next side of the net and he'll make that save. Like it's ridiculous. And then, so yeah, he's incredible. And then Dor, he's one of those, like, typical taller goalies, but, like, once again, he will come in, like, big time, especially over the past week at the Null Showcase. Like, he came in big. Even though we lost the game against Maryland, he made some big saves just to keep us even in the game. So
yeah, that showcase was really interesting. You guys went 1-1-2. Now, obviously, you had a chance to probably win, I would say, all those games from the start. You could have gone 4-0, but, obviously some games slipped away from you. But, you were telling me before you were scratched for the second game, the game that you won, you were telling me before the game, you just kind of, when you got the C on your jersey, you kind of maybe tried to do a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Just calm yourself down. Were you able to do that in those last two games? Because it was pretty evident that when you were on the ice, you just seemed at more peace with everything. Yeah,
I definitely, when I first got the letter, I don't know, I was trying to do too much. Wasn't really sure what my role was. Like, I was still trying to figure it out. But then, like I said, after that game, that's when I had the talk with Mo. Just be who you are. And that's kind of what made me calm down a bit. Then after that, I felt pretty good out there.
And that's what got you the C in the first place, was being yourself. Obviously that had to bring you some good reminders. But let's focus on that for a second. So you're the captain of this team this year. Now, obviously, when you're a kid, the goal is I would assume one of the personal goals is to be a captain of a team. Yeah. When I got to wear the assistant captain when I was in high school, like that did a lot for me. That was one of the highlights of my experience playing high school hockey. So I can't even imagine what it's like to be a captain of a team like this in a city like this that really is a hockey-crazed city.
Yeah.
When you got that C on your jersey, the first thing that ran through your mind is what? And B, do you have personal goals for yourself to say, listen, if I don't meet these, I consider this season not a failure, but just the expectations weren't met?
I think the first thing that ran through my mind was that this is just a huge honor. I mean, last year we had Parker Evering as our captain, and I mean, he was a great guy. He was a great leader. So I'm gonna try to, like, kind of set myself to that standard a little bit. And then goals for this year, I don't know. I'd probably just say, like, motivating the guys, just trying to get everybody's best self out on the ice every day. But, yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, obviously, hopefully we make it to the playoffs. I think if we don't make it to the playoffs, then that's kind of a huge disappointment, especially too with kind of like you said, how passionate the fans are here. I definitely really want to get a championship for this city. I think that would be really special and really cool.
Absolutely. The captain of last year, you mentioned Parker. Did he give you any advice when he found out that you were the captain? Have you talked to him at all? Or
yeah, I talked to him a little bit. He didn't really say too much. He was just like, "Congrats, just go out there and do your thing." That was about it.
Simple.
Yeah,
Straight to the
keeping it
point.
simple. I asked him. I try to text him once in a while. He's not too great with his phone though. So
Really? How old is he?
He's 21.
So he's in the millennium. He should know how to use a cell phone.
No, I mean he knows how to use his cell phone. I don't want him. I don't know if he's going to be watching this or not, so I don't want to bash him too hard.
Right.
But, I mean he's like
you can do that off the air.
Yeah, no, he's like one of my older brothers too. So I
Okay.
mean we kind of mess with each other a little bit.
Yeah.
And like I said, we'll FaceTime occasionally and just shoot each other random texts just to see how each other are doing. So yeah, it's a good relationship for
Nice.
sure.
Exactly. So I mean, I know it's kind of hard to single one person out over the last 3 years in your experience here in Brookings, but has there been other than Kruse, you're kind of your big brother, has there been another guy over the last 3 years that you've been here and just said, you know what, I learned from that guy. He taught me a lot about myself. Who would that guy be?
That would for sure be Parker.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Like when I came into the league, or actually, backstory on that too. We were actually D partners at Des Moines main camp.
Wow.
So like we didn't know who each other were. Like we just started playing defense together, and we were just talking, and he was like, "Yeah, I play for the Brookings Blizzard." I'm like, "Oh, cool, like sweet." And then we kind of went our separate ways. And then when I got here, I was like, "Wait, you look really familiar. Where do I know you from?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, we were at Des Moines camp together." So then basically from there. He just kind of took me under his wing and pretty much taught me like how to lead by example and all that stuff. So, I mean, he's a huge role model for me here in Brookings.
Yeah, that's good to hear that it isn't just one person. It seems like a lot of people in general. You know, you mentioned Parker right off the bat, but it seems to me like I get the impression that when you're out on the ice, the guys out there really look up to you, and I think that's the sign of a good captain. Yeah. So they're looking to you for leadership, and ultimately that's what a captain does. So that's really good to see. But support for the Blizz Show podcast brought to you by our friends out at H&R Block. You guys know I love telling you about H&R Block. So now the tax reform is definitely going to affect everyone's next tax return. And if you don't want to be surprised at tax time next year, you guys got to go visit H&R Block to find out how it's going to affect you. Now, if you are in the Brookings area and Watertown area, new clients, make sure you guys go see Wayne and tell him Weston, yours truly, sent you to get 25% discount on your first tax preparation. H&R Block in Brookings is located at the University Mall, and for more information, you can call this number at 605, Brookings area code 605-692-9715. 5715. Once again, that's 605-692-5715. I try not to mess up that number, but I got through it. So there you go.
That was a pretty good ad read.
Thank you.
I like that a lot.
Our friends out at H&R Block, we thank you for the support of this podcast.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. I love that right there. Okay, a couple things to wrap it up here before we get on out of here, because I know you got to get out of here and go get your rest for tomorrow's game. What we like to do here to wrap up the show, just a couple of rapid-fire questions. We're diminishing it down a little bit, but still going to have a lot of fun with this. So the first question, 5 questions, rapid-fire, first thing that comes to your mind. First question, best-dressed player on this year's roster. I love this question because I think my brother was a suit salesman at Men's Warehouse. I love to see the answers for this. So who is the best dressed player this year?
I'd probably have to say Gabe Wall.
That's a good answer right there.
Gabe Wall, he impresses me with his clothes a lot.
How many pairs of suits do you think he has?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm going to have to ask him when he comes on. That's going to be a good question. Biggest superstition before you hit the ice for the game?
I try not to be superstitious. But like I obviously do. I just say that just so I don't sound like a crazy hockey player. But,
right.
So I try not to take a pregame nap. Like I hate napping before games. Yeah, that's
a first.
Yeah, I hate napping before games. It's like tough for me to shut off my mind in the first place. So falling asleep, like I don't know, I don't like it. Then I usually get to the rink 2 hours early, and then always have to put like from when I get to the rink, I always have to put like my left thing on first.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the kind of answer I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Like that's the first time a pregame nap. What do you do when you don't nap?
I just like watch movies. Oh,
interesting.
So
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, very very interesting. That's a first.
Yeah.
Best NAHL visiting arena to go to and play in as a road member.
Probably have to say Minot.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I have not been there. I'm excited.
Yeah,
You've told me good things.
Yeah, it's probably the nicest rink. Well, for sure the nicest rink in the Central Division. So
I'm excited to go see that place. So they'll be here tomorrow, but they're playing in our barn, so they're going to have to get used to it. Okay, fourth question. This is a popular question because I know a lot of you guys are big UFC fans.
Yeah.
So the big fight obviously coming up is October 6th. It's in Las Vegas. Conor McGregor returns to the octagon. He faces Khabib Nurmagomedov. Who do you got, Khabib or do you got Conor?
I'm for sure McGregor.
Really?
I'm a huge
Okay.
McGregor fan. Yeah.
That's the consensus I get in the locker room.
I mean, I love his style. I love his swagger. Just like, I don't know, I like his trash talking too. I think
He's
pretty
a great
humorous.
marketer.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a great way to
plus the suits that he wears is like those are pretty sick.
August McGregor coming soon. I will not dare to do the impression as good as him. But it's a good one right there.
Yeah.
So then the last question, we like to have fun with this one, is who would play Cam Babiak in a movie? See how fast he thinks of this.
Yeah. I've actually thought of this before.
Oh, really? Okay, so you've watched other podcasts and thought about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
of course. But probably Ryan Gosling, honestly.
I'm going to let you guys be the judge of that. Look into the camera and see his face. Ryan Gosling, folks. I'm going to let you guys be the judge.
Like when I actually do my hair, maybe. I don't know. Like right now, I just got off the ice, so I don't know. I don't look my best.
No, you look good, buddy. You look good.
Thanks.
But so Ryan Gosling, look him up, put him side by side. We might have to do that for social media. That's interesting.
Yeah, we could do that.
We
should do that for each player. Actually, we should yeah.
Maybe you should take over for the social media accounts for this
I'm
team.
just trying to help you out, man.
You're doing a good job, and I appreciate that, man. You're off the ice. You're just killing the game.
Can I give a shout out really quick too?
Please do.
All right, I got shoot out actually from the guys that work at the bakery.
Oh, really?
Because when I went on the radio, I didn't give them the shout out.
Oh, really?
So now I have to do it on here.
Okay.
So if that's
the
all right,
bakery,
yeah.
of course. Let's see.
So Mike, Brad, what's up, boys?
That's a beautiful shout out. I love that. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into Blizz Show Podcast, Episode 3, Player Profile Edition. Cam Babiak, before we go, make sure you tell everybody where they can follow you on social media.
CBabiak28 is for Instagram and Twitter.
When I first met you, I pronounced it Babiak, I think is how I said it. But it took me a month to get your name right, but it's Babiak.
Yeah, it's basically, I just tell people like a baby yak.
That's actually really good. That's on my broadcast board is Babiak /AK.
Okay.
So I haven't screwed it up yet. But if I do, if mom and dad are listening, you can email me. The email is on the website.
Yeah,
so.
chew them out for that.
Thanks, Cam. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Cam Babiak, folks, the captain of the Brookings Blizzard. He'll be in action tomorrow against the Minot Minotauros. Till next time, we'll be back next week. Fresh episode, fresh new player. Till next time, we'll see you later.